Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win. Good morning, football fans, and welcome to Room 442 this Saturday morning. We're getting down to the wire across the European leagues. Today we'll focus obviously on the Premier League. Later today we have Would You Rather, courtesy Sara Poraria, and we'll break down some of the bigger games this weekend. But to start with, I thought we'd talk about who won the week in soccer, right? Some big games from the Canadian Premier League to the Canadian Championship to the Champions League. I don't know why you're laughing, Albert Vartanian. But listen, Kevin De Bruyne, great week, of course. Fantastic against Real Madrid. Scored that beautiful goal in the 1-1 draw. In the same game, of course, Erling Haaland kept very quiet. Antonio Rudiger was great in that role. Edin Dzeko, 37 years of age. He scores against AC Milan in the Champions League semi-finals. Todd Boehly. What a week for Todd Boehly. Freezes season ticket prices, at least general admission season ticket prices, to say to the Chelsea fans, yeah, we kind of screwed up. I'm sorry, but here's a little carrot for you. And Jude Bellingham, listen, it's not done yet, but closing in on a move to Real Madrid. So who won the week in world football? Sara Poraria, Albert Vartanian, Michael Singh. Let's start with you. Out of those personalities, who had the best week?
Out of those ones in particular?
Throw in another name if you want. Feel free.
I would love to throw in another name because you mentioned Canadian Premier League off the bat, and I have to go with TSS Rovers. Their story is incredible. The fact that they were able to enter the Canadian Championship, which, you know, a League One team, a team of that stature has never been able to really go as far as the Rovers did. And the fact that they're a supporter-made club, I want to call them, they broke barriers for Canadian soccer. And their story is, like I said, just really incredible. And they went to the brink they beat Vancouver last round. They went to the brink against Pacific, upsetting one team and almost upsetting a second. Like I said, they've done something that no other Canadian club has done. So it's just, I look at it as progress in Canadian soccer.
A fairy tale in the Canadian Championship, right? It is. It's
good old
a
cup
great story. And their whole model of their club as well, supporter owned and ran. It's just brilliant. He went rogue here. You know, off the grid here.
Off the board.
You can't go rogue. You must stay on the board here.
I actually have one that is a bit
rogue.
Good. I'm just curious as to why Vinny Jr. isn't there if KDB is.
Block 2's coming up shortly.
Okay, perfect. I probably will, though, go Kevin De Bruyne just because he had a fantastic match. And I think it's just the juxtaposition, if you will, of him and Haaland. When Haaland wasn't able to do anything, KDB rises from the ashes. You know, like, he's so talented, and I don't think we give him enough credit because he's not always scoring the goals. He doesn't have the numbers as Haaland, but he had such a fantastic game, and it reminds you of how good of a footballer he is, and he's so great to watch.
Ellie, can you show that picture again, very briefly, the one you just had up there? Well, even when he's not scoring goal, though, he's a great massage therapist.
I love those kits, by the way. I thought that was a great kit battle, the Real Madrid white and that with the stripes. I love that.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Listen, speaking of De Bruyne, Thierry Henry, one of the great Premier League players of all time, was speaking about De Bruyne during the broadcast. Ellie, roll it.
I think Kevin his brain is, I think it's the best that I've seen. Brain, we're not talking about the way he sees the game, and this is why we were talking about it a bit before. Because his brain is in some places, I don't know what he thinks about sometimes, in all fairness. You look at him and it's almost like he's not with us, if you know what I mean, because he's that good, and sometimes it can be a problem because you're not on his level. But I think he's the most clever player I've seen in my life.
I know the feeling, you know, just not being on the same level, the brain being somewhere else, Albert.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
I totally agree with Henry. It's not hard to disagree with him, but I always thought the best passer, the best brain that I've ever seen, Cesc Fabregas for a long time. Some of the passes that he made, but De Bruyne, like, he sees things like Thierry Henry was saying that no one else sees. It's incredible. And now, if he can score the goals to go with that, he automatically, for me, if he can consistently do that, becomes one of the best players in the world.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go
No,
ahead.
I almost thought Henri was describing himself there. The way that he was talking.
Could have been actually, yeah.
He's not with us. He's not
No,
one
I
of
was just
us.
gonna give a shout, maybe a little Iniesta as well.
Yeah, I was thinking
Similar,
the same
like
thing.
when you
Yeah.
watch them, you're like, how did you even manage to see that? Kevin De Bruyne gives us that same feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I should mention Rudiger there as well, who was great. I mean, Haaland's been shut down now for a couple of weeks. Who was named, by the way, today the Football Writers Player of the Year by a unanimous decision there. We know how good Haaland is, but Rudiger I thought was absolutely brilliant in this one. Just a tough, physical defender who
Didn't make a
al-
single tackle.
wouldn't normally start either
Yeah.
at this point. Militao will be in there usually, right? In his spot there. Yeah, exactly. A clever footballer.
You didn't ask me who won the week, by the way.
I thought you were going De Bruyne. I thought you assumed.
me out like
yeah.
that, Sharms? What?
No, sorry. Okay,
No,
who won the
I'm
week?
joking. Edin Dzeko.
Okay.
I have to say it. Listen, it's the biggest Milan derby in, 2 decades? He scores 8 minutes in. He comes in for Lukaku, who's been in form, 3 goals, 3 assists in his last 3 games. And you help Inter win 2-0
And what a
in the
goal,
Champions
too.
League semifinal against your biggest rival. I'm going to have to go with Dzeko. I'd have to go with everybody on Inter, to be honest, who won the week. That's a huge week for them.
37 years of age. Loving the old guy start doing well. It's brilliant. But yeah, what a career he had. Why are you laughing?
Of course, you love him.
Are you insinuating that I'm an old person as well?
37 is still young. In football,
Not in footballing terms.
Not footballing
Maybe a
terms, but
goalkeeping
37 is
terms,
still
not
young.
in the striker terms
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
But what a
No,
player.
no.
But he's still got some football in him.
He does.
Look at that
Finish, yeah.
finish, left foot
Yeah, he's
too,
great.
first time. No goal in the world was stopping that finish. I wonder if he could keep it going. I know he's jumped around from club to club, but I wonder if there's another move in his cards.
We can get the Dzeko derby for the final, right?
Maybe.
Inter, Man City.
Yeah.
You were saying that you'd one day, I think a while back, you could see Dzeko being an MLS player.
Absolutely, yeah. I think based on what we've seen from him, he can go in the MLS and play.
Yeah, could
Yeah,
well do.
definitely.
Could well do. I think overall, I think maybe the winner of the week was Italian football, right? Because that was the atmosphere at the San Siro was just
Plus,
absolutely
Napoli won.
incredible.
They clinched this week.
They
Yeah.
clinched as well. Yeah. No, it was a good week for Italian football. Are they back? I don't know. But one of them is getting to the final at this point, probably
Right.
Inter Milan. When we come back, we'll gaze into our crystal ball to May 2024. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win. Welcome back to Room 442. As mentioned before, we're getting down to the wire in the European League. So let's now gaze into our crystal ball, okay, and look to May 2024 and just where certain players may be, who they're playing for, what they're doing, okay? So we'll start today with one of my favourite players, a guy that I think will be very much there with the top Ballon d'Or candidates this time next year, if not already. And that is Vinicius Jr.
There
Vinny Jr.
it
of Real Madrid.
is.
Yeah, Sarah, you start with this one. Where will Vinny be this time next year as far as his footballing life?
I mean, I think he'll be 100% up there in contention for the Ballon d'Or. He's one of the best players right now. He's proved himself. He's so crucial for Real Madrid, especially with Benzema slowly just kind of stepping out of the light, getting older as naturally it happens. But Vinny is so fantastic. He has the pace, he has the capability, he has the technique, he has the ability to score goals. And if we're looking into 2024, let's assume Messi gets this the Ballon d'Or, that's whatever, coming up. So this will be the next one. So Messi will be out, I think, of that in terms
Saudi
of
Arabia,
top
it's hard to
three.
get votes, right?
There you go. And also no World Cup contention, of course. So who's going to be your top 3? Has to be him. I think like Mbappe is always up there. We know how French football works. And then Erling Haaland, right? But to me, I think that this guy is 100% one of the best players in football right now. And if he keeps it going, nothing tells me that he's not going to be one of the top 3 for the Ballon d'Ors.
23 goals this season, all competitions, right? And you add maybe a Jude Bellingham into that midfield.
Unfair.
That's pretty good service.
But what
for-
if they add a Kylian Mbappe to that team?
I
Which
don't
is
think they
being-
will.
So
That's
so
a
I
great point.
think the next 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years, is the Haaland and Mbappe years.
Yeah.
And I also believe that Vinny needs to be he has to be head and shoulders above those 2 guys to really get those true votes for the Ballon d'Or. Especially if Mbappe goes to Real Madrid with Vinny there. Is Vinny really going to shine under Mbappe?
Does Mbappe
Probably
play
not.
centrally in that case and Vinny stays
That's-
where
yeah,
he is?
what are they
You would
gonna
assume
do?
that's
Well,
what
do you
happens, right?
do you
Right.
think that Mbappe is going to go to Real Madrid? Because I don't think they need him anymore.
That-
They have
I'm
this
just
guy, and they
assuming.
both
If
play
he
on
does,
the left.
if that
There's no
happens.
way Mbappe's going to play in the middle, though. He's not that guy. He's going to
No.
say, "Get out of my spot. I
He
play
wants
there."
to for France, though, right?
Yeah, he does. But Real Madrid don't need Mbappe right now. They don't. Like they have this guy. In my opinion,
I
it
think
would
every
be-
club in the world needs an
Yeah,
Mbappe,
sure
don't
you'd
you?
like him, but in my opinion, they both play the same position. Why are you not sticking with this guy who's proven himself in La Liga? Vinny, I mean, Kylian Mbappe has only played in Liga. La
Are
Liga's
you saying
way-
Mbappe couldn't do it in
I think he
cold night in
could, but I'm
Sociedad?
just saying we always stop. I think Sociedad's a very hard place to play. The altitude at Anoeta, I'm not kidding, it's actually very difficult. But no, I just think that you have a proven player, and he's young as well, and he works well with the team. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I think it's a good point because when you look at Brazil and you look at their national team, Vini Jr.'s been doing this for a couple of seasons, but he's been overshadowed because you have, obviously, Neymar's their guy, and you could probably throw 7-8 other guys in that Brazilian team up there with Vini, right? So Vini's been at this level for a couple of years, and he's still not getting the recognition, I think, that maybe is warranted from the type of play he has. You add in the fact that Kylian Mbappe could potentially go to Real Madrid, or if it's not Kylian Mbappe, maybe it's Osimhen, or maybe it's a couple of other players that definitely Real Madrid are going to be going after. Does that take some of the spotlight off Vini Jr.? I think it's a good point.
And it's just not the goal scorers too, right? Modric won this thing. What if Bellingham goes there and he steals the show? Kevin De Bruyne can still win this thing. I will say Vini might have a slight edge in 2024 on Haaland because I'm not sure if Norway is going to get into the Euro Cup and Vini will have a Copa America with Brazil. Win the Copa America, potential Champions League and La Liga, that puts you in contention for Ballon d'Or.
Norway's in a good position for the
So
Euros.
many good young players, though, right? Why players right now?
They are.
Oh, they are?
They
Okay.
are.
Well,
They're
that
in Spain's
changes a
group.
lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Add all those goals plus an incredible competition in the Euros, it's hard to not say Haaland.
Okay, let's move on now, right? The next player, this for you, Albert, we'll start with you. On the other side of the front three for Arsenal in this case is Bukayo Saka. Right, what a campaign he's having. He's really emerged as not just a great goal scorer, an assist man, but a leader as well on an emerging Arsenal team. What will Saka be a year from now?
Oh, that's a good question. I already think he's one of the best. He's in the top 5 Premier League players right now.
Probably,
alone. I don't want to go like in the world, but in the Premier League, he's fantastic. And in terms of like if Arsenal will win some silverware, they already have with him. They're only going to get better. And they're going to have 4 chances at it next season, right? The Champions League, the Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. FA Cup and Carabao Cup are definitely doable for Arsenal. Will they win the Champions League? Probably not. Can they contend for the Premier League? Well, they've showed us that, and he's been one of the reasons why. So I think Saka will only get better, and it's hard not to say that Arsenal won't win something next season.
I honestly think that this season was his breakout season. Now he's got to go and replicate this season. Can he do it year in, year out? He's obviously a really good player, as you said. Probably a top 5 player in the Premier League this season. Will he be a top 5 player in the Premier League next season? Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's tough to do that year in, year out. He's got to prove it. Other players in the past have had good individual seasons. He's got to back that up. But obviously one of the brightest young talents in the world.
Yep, he's going places right now for sure, and obviously with England as well. You know, maybe not a trophy with Arsenal, but maybe with England. You never know. Mikey, let's start with you. Moving on to a slightly older player, right? But a guy whose future is very much being debated right now, and that causes Harry Kane. Right, another great season. He's a free agent after next season. Let's fast forward to May 2024, though. What has Harry Kane done?
Manchester United is going to be a pretty good team in 2024, it looks like, under Erik ten Hag. And Harry Kane is going to be selling jerseys left, right, and center of Manchester United's number 10. Obviously, I think the ties are natural, given everything that we've talked about in the past. Obviously, he's the captain of England. Manchester United, arguably the biggest club in England. He wants to probably go out and win some trophies after a pretty trophy-deprived career so far. I think he's having a great career at Manchester United because it just seems like it's inevitable at this point.
Okay, he's 29, right? Almost 29. He's worth, 100 million for a 29-year-old? Is he better off? Let's go with Albert here because, he's got so much to say right now about Kane.
I don't know about that.
Is he better off playing one more year at Spurs and then he's a free agent and then he can pick and choose where he goes and make more money as well because there's no transfer fee attached to it? Is he better off doing that or telling Spurs and Daniel Levy, listen, I'm leaving regardless next year. You may as well sell me now and I want to go to Old Trafford?
Right. I mean, most people would probably say play the year and then leave. But, at 29 years old, how many more years do you actually have left, right? And he has injury issues with his ankles. So I think if he can get a move to another team, Manchester United, say in the Premier League, I think he's going to accept that move and he'll be fine. I don't think he's moving. I thought for the longest time that he would, but he just did this interview. And he was talking a lot about like the culture and talking with Daniel Levy about changing the culture in the club. He also mentioned, he's like, maybe it's not a bad thing that Spurs are in the Europa League or the Conference League because we haven't won a trophy for such a long time. that there's nothing wrong with winning one of those trophies. So just how he's saying things, the way he's saying things, I don't know if he's just playing up the media, but I haven't heard him talk like this for a long time. So I do believe that next season he'll still be with Spurs.
Isn't Albert adorable?
Well, listen, after talking to Samuel Luckhurst in the week about Manchester United and this specific situation, he was saying there's pros and cons, right? Harry Kane, obviously a proven player in the Prem, but do Manchester United go after a player that is older, that costs so much? Daniel Levy doesn't really like to sell players to their rivals. So, I don't know. There seems to be a little bit of pushback as well. Honestly, I don't know. Victor Osimhen might just slide himself
Well, let's go to Osimhen now, Shay, because if it's not Kane going to United, the big rumour is it's going to be Victor Osimhen. Much younger, of course, 28 goals in all competitions this year in the Serie A and Coppa Italia and the Champions League. What a campaign, Sarah. Would he be a better choice? Do you think you're going to see him wearing red this time next year as opposed to...
Not. I don't want him to. I really hope not. But I mean, it's like the perfect position for him to go to Manchester United. It's a bigger club. It's a bigger league. He can, display his talents even on a higher level.
Is that his agent right there?
During the show?
Is that his agent?
I'm sorry.
Very popular.
It's Harry Kane.
It's Harry Kane.
So thank you very much, Albert. Cheers. Appreciate it.
Is that Mr. Bean?
Listen, we'll see though. But yeah, he is a lot younger. I think he could do really well at United. I really hope he doesn't because I loved him at Napoli. But of course, it's only natural for him to go to a bigger club in a bigger league. So
Yeah.
Why don't you want to see him at United?
Because we'll leave that. We'll save that for
The lower says, which league will Osimhen dominate? Honestly, I don't think he's going to dominate any league. I don't even think he's dominating Serie A.
What?
He only has 4 more goals than Lautaro Martinez. He's not blowing anybody away like Erling Haaland is. Or Mbappe.
I think he's blowing
still
people.
28
I think
goals
he's
in
blowing
competitions,
people
but know what
away.
you're
I
saying,
think
right?
He's not gonna, I don't
he's
think
done.
in his entire
had the
career,
most.
he's never dominated the league. I know
He
he's 24
dominated the
years
league
old.
this season.
He didn't
and
dominate the league.
yeah, he did.
He has 4 more goals than the guy that you guys all made fun of in the
I
World
am
Cup.
making fun of him
Lautaro
still.
Martinez.
It's not just about goals, though.
No, I understand that. He's
Gotta
a very
cut
good
you off.
striker, but he won't dominate anything.
Well, listen, we'll replay this in a year from now and find
Yeah.
out where he is, all
Let's
right?
do it.
Okay, when we come back, we'll look at some of the big games coming up in the Premier League this weekend. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win. All right, so the Premier League games this weekend. Obviously a busy weekend with just 3 weeks left. Some big games throughout the table. Mikey, it might surprise you, has picked Manchester United as his match to watch this weekend against Wolves, a team that is either in its flip-flops or is so loose they'll be unbeatable. What do you expect?
Yeah, from Wolves, I'm not really expecting a whole ton. Manchester United, I'm expecting an absolute response because a few weeks back we were talking about how Manchester United were an absolute lock. The top 4 was set with Newcastle, United, obviously Man City and Arsenal. But now Manchester United are on the brink of potentially falling out of that top 4 position, which is something that was, like I said, just unfathomable a few weeks back. So they need an absolute response in this game against Wolves after a pretty poor performance against West Ham. And in this matchup, I'm actually not expecting a ton of goals. Not only has United's form dipped of late, but so have their ability to just convert chances in front of goal. 8 of their last 9 matches have gone under 2.5 goals, so that's what I'm taking in this one, under 2.5 goals. The Wolves, they're the lowest scoring team in the Premier League this season, 30 goals from 35 matches, while United, their last 14 games, they have just 14 goals. So I don't think there's a ton of goals in this one, but I do believe United will put in a good performance.
Producer Elliot won't appreciate that. He loves his Wolverhampton Wanderers.
loves Wolves.
So we'll see. But I mean, it's an interesting one. Last time they played 1-0 United, and something has gone awry with United, be it injuries. I'm not entirely sure what it is. But let's hear now from the man who's the talisman of this team, shall we, Bruno Fernandes.
We have such a great team that is doing a great job this season when no one thought that United could be fighting for the top 4. We know that now everyone is thinking that, United is being great, but I remember in the beginning of the season, no one put our team in the top 6. So I think it's a good surprise for them, for us not, because we knew that we could be there. We knew that we could be even higher on the league, but we had our moments, and that's why we're still in a position of fighting for top 4 and not bigger things. But I think in soon this club and these players and this team will be fight for much bigger thing.
Yeah, remember back in August, September, all going wrong. Their first loss of the campaign, opening weekend. at home.
First 2 losses.
Not since have they lost at home, though, right? Amazing turnaround there from Bruno Fernandes and company. All right, moving on now. Sarah, you have picked Arsenal against Brighton, which I think is probably the pick of the games this weekend as far as a footballing choice.
Yeah, I was shocked. Mikey had his first pick because he said first come, first serve, and I was like, oh, it's gone, and then went for United, so happy days for me. But yeah, I think it's one of the biggest matches. Obviously, we know Arsenal fighting for anything at this point to beat Manchester United in the title race, and they have to win every game and hope. Sorry, Manchester City. Thank you. And hope that they have to hope Manchester City fumble at some point, and they just win all their games. That's all they can do at this point, right? Brighton, on the other hand, coming off a massive loss to Everton. Who would have thought 5-1? Crazy. But they're also trying to stay above in Europa League contention, so they want to bounce back. But this game is at the Emirates. Arsenal have only lost 2 games this season at home. One was to Man City, but one was to Brighton in the Carabao Cup. That being said, I don't think Arteta will allow it to happen again. I think Arsenal, they have some issues right now in the back. We know that Saliba, Zinchenko, Mikey and I were talking about this yesterday. So that's why I went for Arsenal's going to win this game, but it's going to be both teams that are going to score here. For sure, Brighton will be able to break that back line, no problem. They're absolutely fantastic, their front 3. And I think it's going to be really tough, but I do think that Arsenal have so much more on the line and that they're going to be able to get it done at home in front of their fans too.
I have a feeling a shock is on at Goodison Park. I don't know why. I think Everton can beat Manchester City this weekend.
Really?
We got the Champions League coming up. Is he going to rest Haaland? Is Pep going to? I don't think so, but there's a chance.
So what? Julian Alvarez comes in.
That's so exactly. But
a great sign.
But if you look at City away, they don't blow teams away. They went to Leeds and 1-0. Going to Goodison is difficult, especially right now. Off the back of that performance against
counter-attacking Everton.
That was Big Sam's Leeds. Come on, show some respect.
I love Big Sam, but I just have this feeling. I think Everton can
the way Doucouré is playing right now, he's playing all world, so you never know.
Who's Everton's manager? Just remind me.
That'd be Sean Dyche.
Oh, cool.
Surprise. Hey, listen, this time of year though, every year this time of year there are really odd results.
Yes.
Right? They make no sense, and you look back, in the races at various ends. Man, how the heck did that happen?
Remember last
and it
season
changed
when
everything.
City went to Selhurst Park?
Yeah.
1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Yeah.
These things happen.
Here's why you're wrong in that one, though. Man City have, after Everton, they have Chelsea at home and then away to Brighton and Brentford. They absolutely need these 3 points. They're going to throw everything at this
But
game.
how fun would it be if they did drop points
amazing.
and then Arsenal won and then everything is back just for the sake of it?
I think this Arsenal-Brighton game could be the game of the weekend. Goals galore, right? I think 10 of the past 11 games, 2 or more goals for Arsenal. I think 5 of the last 6 for Brighton. There's been 2 or more goals there as well. 4-2 last time they played. Going to be a great game for sure.
3-3.
Yeah, could you imagine 3-3 and then City lose? And then, it's all going to happen. All right, Leicester-Liverpool doesn't mean quite as much. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's more important actually.
It means a lot.
Top
for
4
both
and
ways.
relegation.
If United drop points heading into Monday, Liverpool.
They're not dropping points.
I'm just saying, if they do, Liverpool can win and get into the top 4. For Leicester City, they're 2 points out. Look at them right now. 30 points. 2 points behind
Everton beating Man City.
Even if Everton pick up a point, that's 3 points. I don't expect Leicester to beat Liverpool. No chance. The last time Leicester City kept a clean sheet, 21 matches ago in the Premier League to West Ham. 21 matches ago. Now you have Liverpool, who are humming right now. Mohamed Salah is scoring the way he's been scoring the past few seasons. They're keeping clean sheets. Listen, this is a huge game. I think Liverpool wins this, get into the top 4. Leicester City still in the relegation zone. By the way, did you hear what Jamie Vardy had to say? He goes, if we keep Leicester City up, it'll be my biggest accomplishment at this club.
Well, that's just not true, though, is it?
That's crazy.
Sorry, Jamie, but I think winning the Premier League was the greatest accomplishment.
He did an interview on TalkSport. And he was also talking about how much pressure him and the team are feeling right now, which I find very interesting.
And he's renowned for being a thinking man's footballer, isn't he? Jamie Vardy. So that's good.
Big game.
Last time they played,
score over 2.5 goals.
Okay, last time they played 2-1 Liverpool. 2 own goals by Wout Faes. Right? The other Wout, more goals than Wout Weghorst has scored this year.
No, it isn't.
In the league. It is.
What happened to Wout Weghorst?
He's still starting every game.
He's number 10.
But he's not returning, though.
No. It's a link-up play. Right? I always talk about the chest, the down, the deep, the da.
He's United's number 10 right now.
That's insane.
That
tells you all you know. You give the 10 to your best player.
One good game in the World Cup, and that's it.
And that's why Liverpool are going to finish in 4th place, because there's no way a team with Wout Weghorst as number 10 can be finishing in the Champions League spots.
Fans.
Oh, it would.
He's leaving too, right? They're not going to sign him full-time next season, apparently.
Good riddance.
Breaks your heart, right?
Oh, Spurs,
I know.
man.
It
What are you
must.
doing
But
over there?
yeah, Liverpool, they're back in the hunt. And I saw Jurgen Klopp was talking about this week. And it's been a really bad campaign. We understand it. But here we are. There's an opportunity here. And we know that we have got some quality still. 6 straight wins. We can definitely put some pressure on United. But let's face it, we're not going to finish top 4. Taking the pressure off. So it's going to be fascinating. Chelsea against Nottingham Forest. I like this one. Listen, Chelsea, they win the first game under Frank Lampard. First in 7 games. The first points under Frank Lampard, in fact. They're at home, but they're playing the most desperate team maybe in the league right now. Or one of the most desperate teams anyway. Nottingham Forest playing really well, just outside the drop zone right now by 3 points. They're playing Arsenal next week at home and then on the road to Crystal Palace. This is as close to a must-win for Forest as I think you'll find. So for this one, I like Forest tie no bet at plus 425, right?
Yeah.
If you watch Forest the last few weeks, man, they are playing with that desperation. Brennan Johnson is being all-world at the moment. If he plays in this one, I know there's some issues with his injuries, but he's been a really good story. And Frank Lampard, on the other hand, he's making a name for himself once again, and Birdie thinks he'll be assistant under Pochettino
I think that'd
next
be the
season.
best thing for him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when he speaks, I always think he sounds like a football manager. And to prove it, here's Frank Lampard.
Obviously kept Everton up last season. You can contribute to that again by beating Forest, can't you?
Maybe, but Everton's fate is in their own hands at this point, I think, and it's not in my concerns really. I lived that life last year, and I have a lot of connection to the club. In the year that I had there, it was a really enjoyable time for me. But as much as I would support them from afar, it's not in my concern as Chelsea manager. But of course, I hope they get the job done because I know what that feeling is.
Yeah, it's a tough question, right? Everton was a different story, a different club, and obviously it's gone horribly wrong at Chelsea. But has he been tarnished at all, do you think, returning to Chelsea? Or do you think whether he stays at Chelsea as an assistant coach or goes somewhere else, his reputation is as it was when he left Everton?
It's worse. It's worse now.
It's worse now.
Yeah,
You
you
think so?
go to Chelsea, you take this job knowing that you're not going to get the job. I know in his mind, he probably thought, if I do a good job here, maybe I'll be the manager next season. That's clearly not happening. It sounds like Pochettino's going to get announced anytime soon now. I think the best thing for him, I really do believe, if Poch is the man there, and Poch wants him to stay as an assistant under him, learn, as did Ryan Mason at Spurs with Pochettino, and Lampard already has that experience. He's just going to be that much better. I think going to another club right now, he'd probably want to do that as well. I just think for his personal development as a manager, he needs to learn under somebody who knows what they're doing.
I don't disagree with that at all, but his reputation was already tarnished. He failed at Chelsea before, then he failed at Everton, now he's failing again at
He
Chelsea.
kind of failed at Derby too.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, put Derby aside
Yeah.
if
Well,
He
you'd
got
like.
promotion for them.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, we're talking, you've now coached 3 times in the Prem, twice with Chelsea, of course, but I've been saying this from the beginning. He's not a good manager, and that's fine because he was a fantastic player, but doesn't mean you can do both. And I'm just surprised that people are surprised that he's not doing well. Of course he's not doing well because he's not done well anywhere.
And he's also taking the most difficult jobs, by the way.
Yeah, no, he is, yeah. So let's gaze into our crystal balls from Block 2 again, right? May 2024. Is Frank Lampard managing a football club anywhere?
Hopefully not.
Yes.
Probably. I would
He
think
is.
so, yeah.
He probably will, but I don't know.
He's
in the Prem.
managing New York City FC.
Ah, okay, coming to MLS.
Back to MLS.
Back to MLS, yes. Well,
He
'cause
has the ties here. Like, I don't think there's going to be clubs lining up to secure Frank Lampard as
Yeah,
the
that's-
manager, right? The reason why he took this Chelsea job, which not a lot of people would have lined up to take, was because he had a really poor run-in at Everton and his reputation was already tarnished. This was supposed to spark his reputation up a little bit. It didn't work. A job could open up at MLS. I think
Here's
he's
Frank
gonna take
Lampard's
that.
reputation over here, right? It's tarnished, but you can still polish it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
With the right job.
And remember, what happens with managers? They're recycled. Now
Yeah.
he's in that pool, right?
Exactly.
He'll be fine.
Could be the new Sam Allardyce, you never know, right? Just imagine, it'd be fantastic. Okay, when we come back, it's all about Sara Poraria. What's it called again?
Would you rather?
Would you rather? That's the one. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win. Would you rather play red card, yellow card, play on, or would you rather? Today it's would you rather. Sorry, Mikey. Sarah, it's all yours.
All right, guys, you know the gist of the game. I'm going to ask you, would you rather football-based questions? You have to choose between the two. It's a bit difficult because we've already played a few times. I've gone through some of the big ones, but I tried to keep this one a bit more focused on what's happened in the week, a little bit of Champions League inspiration maybe, who's doing well, who's not. So
Canadian Championship?
What's that?
Canadian Championship as well.
Sorry.
Much love.
The disrespect, honestly.
All right, guys. Albert, we'll start with you here.
I don't have a megaphone to throw.
Oh, it's terrible. It's actually terrible. Okay, would you rather play alongside the 2005 Milan team or the 2010 Inter team?
So I love both the teams are incredible. You look at this Milan team: Kaká, Shevchenko, Inzaghi, Pirlo, Seedorf,
Maldini.
Gattuso.
You've been cheating.
I have.
You have been cheating.
Yeah, I looked at it.
You've been preparing for this too?
No.
You got to
Okay, good.
prepare a little bit, right?
I'm prepared
Albert
for anything.
always.
Okay. Oh, look at it. All right, I'm gonna go to 2010 Inter.
2010 Inter.
Oh,
yes,
Thiago
come on.
Motta.
No,
Samuel
no.
Eto'o.
Champions League. I can't go AC. They lost in the Champions League final. Liverpool. I don't want to be a part of that.
They won in
team.
2007 though.
Yeah, it's a
2
very
years
good team.
later.
I'm gonna go 2010 Inter. They basically won almost everything. I think the only thing they didn't win was Coppa Italia. Maybe they won Club World Cup, Serie A, Champions League. So I'm gonna go.
No, they won the treble.
They won
So
the treble.
you're,
Yeah,
Well,
you're
let's go.
basing
Italia.
it.
So- Who was their manager?
Mourinho.
There you go.
You wanna
want to
play
play
for
under
Mourinho?
Mourinho
That's why
team?
I said that. I want to play under Mourinho.
So
2010
you're-
Mourinho.
okay.
Centre half. though,
Did you
isn't it?
see?
can just tell.
Do
Yeah,
you
just
remember?
love it or
Okay,
bad,
after
right?
they won the Champions League, do you remember what happened? That clip of Mourinho and Materazzi outside
Oh,
crying.
Oh yeah.
that would
I
be
know.
me and Mourinho.
Remember the old phone? Call me.
That'd be me and him. Love
It'd
you,
be-
Mourinho, and then that'd be it. 2010.
2010, Mikey.
No, it's the Milan team, man. Look at the quality of players on that roster. Those are legends. Inter as a team, as a collective, they came together and they played some brilliant football. But you look at the players individually, how much would you die to play against a 2005 or play with 2005
Not against.
Kaká? Man,
Hey,
come
don't
on.
disrespect Pandev.
Samuel Eto'o's not a legend.
Samuel
Wesley
Eto'o.
Sneijder, Thiago Motta.
Fantastic players, but
Disrespecting Inter.
only player
I'm just
that's
stirring the
ever
pot.
won Ballon d'Or in between the era of Messi and Ronaldo. There's one. It's Kaká.
That's it. That's good.
Kaká
Rivaldo?
wasn't on the
He was in
2005
that team too, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was in a-
I'm sure Ronaldinho was on both
I don't
teams
think
at one
Kaká
point.
was on the
He's played for
2005.
everyone
He
in
came
that
out.
era,
So
didn't
where are
he?
you going?
AC Milan.
Okay.
For sure.
course he
Gattuso.
is.
Come on.
Gattuso, just that.
Gattuso,
the hatchet man.
Maldini.
Hatchet man. Maldini.
Cafu.
Cafu. Those fullbacks. My word, what a team that was. I mean, how they choked it in that second half against Liverpool, I'll never know. It's incredible.
Yeah, the
But I'm glad they
Brazilians
did.
on the team. Fantastic.
Very glad.
All right.
Was
We got
Kaká
next.
on that team?
Yeah, sorry, I just said that. Yeah, and there's so many Brazilians on this team. Serginho, I don't know this guy. Amoroso? No, I do.
Amoroso.
Gija, I just
Amoroso.
had to say it out loud. Yeah, this is a great team. Both teams are really good. I'm just curious because we talked so much Milan this week. I'm interested.
I find AC Milan's got a bit more of that romantic appeal.
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
think
And I think it's
that's what
because
it
of the
is.
late 80s, before you guys watched football. You had the
Before
Ruud
we were
Gullit era.
born?
Yeah, but the Ruud Gullit era, Marco van Basten,
Yeah.
Marco van
Gus
Basten.
Hiddink playing. You know? I mean, what a team that was. That was Ronald
Ancelotti.
Koeman, Ancelotti, yeah. Man, it was really
late
special.
80s, talking about
I had a
Maradona.
T-shirt with Ruud Gullit on it in a caricature. So I loved AC Milan.
He also had another one with Yap Stam on it. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Keeping with Champions League kind of vibes, we'll start with you this time, James. Would you rather have, as a football manager, just for this season, Vinny Jr. or Kylian Mbappe? Only base it on this season, please.
Vinny Jr. 100%.
There it
Mbappe, he'd
is.
be trying to get my job. You know, trying to run the club. You know, hey, Gaffer, no. That's the wrong 11. I spoke to the owners.
Yeah,
And they'll be
I
calling
spoke
you,
to the president.
and I want to do this because it's my club. Mbappe.
witnessing?
He's a baby. He's a wonderful talent. Probably the best player in world football, but absolute the baggage that comes with him. Vinny just goes about his job quietly. He's wonderful. Absolutely, Vinny Jr.
Can you do that cry again?
Yeah.
I do it most evenings before I go to bed.
Hey, Mike,
but-
yeah, that's a social club, by the way. All right, Mike, same question.
There's only one right answer here.
It's Mbappe. It's Mbappe. He's not only one of the best attackers in the
Millennials,
world,
I
he's
tell ya.
arguably one of the best players in the world. I don't care about his attitude. When you put him in between those white lines, in between the pitch, this guy's a baller. It's killing Mbappe. Look what he did at the World Cup. Come on.
Not losing it, you mean?
What did Vinny do?
Yeah, well, Mbappe had a better team around him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, France is better than Brazil.
France and Brazil were arguably
But
the
Mbappe
two
was-
individually best
Brazil was the
sides.
favorite to
Mbappe
win.
was the team in that final, by the way. Like
Yeah.
he grabbed the team and said,
I'm not
Antoine
telling you. I'm not
Griezmann-
saying he's a bad.
Griezmann,
He's
maybe?
incredible.
No,
From
no,
a
I know
football,
what
he's a better player than
Yeah.
Vinny. Yeah,
No,
but
Who
it's
has
the
a better chance of taking over a game?
I'm
Vinny or
also-
Mbappe?
Oh, Mbappe, but
Mbappe.
he's the
Okay.
baggage. He'll take my
I know,
job.
I'm with you. I
Let
hate
him
it.
have
Right?
his answer. You don't have to agree
If I
with
don't
it.
do what he says,
Tell
I'm
me.
out.
Yeah.
Tell me why it's Mbappe. Everyone gets it.
I basically just said it's Mbappe.
Okay.
He can take over a game. The baggage sucks for sure, but if I want a guy to come in, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get some of that Garbaggio. I know what you're talking about, but I'm also going to get a ton of goals, and he's probably going to win me some trophies, so I'm good.
Not producer Elliot
And I'm
whispering
also
bad things in our ears.
I'm also going to put some hard, quote unquote, hard men around him. You know, just keep him in check a little bit.
Little
yeah.
security guards.
He's got ownership in the club.
No, he's not
basically.
getting any ownership in my club. Though.
Oh,
Well,
you're
we'll
the manager,
see how
not
long
the owner.
that lasts.
You're gone within the first 3 months.
All right.
Oh,
sure.
I might be like, what was his name? Oh my goodness, De Boer?
Avram Grant.
Frank De Boer at Palace. Like
Oh,
6
yeah.
games and
6
gone.
games.
That's me. Players will love me though, but the fans won't.
Yeah, be a player's manager, but not results-oriented manager.
Exactly. Yeah. He was a great guy, but he didn't know what he was doing.
Terrible manager.
All right, let's move on. Mikey, we'll start with you for this one. Would you rather have this season Erling Haaland's record or KDB's skills?
I'm all about recognition and making sure people know what I do. I'm definitely going all in on Erling Haaland.
You know what's crazy? Look me in the eyes. I knew he was going to pick this. I knew Mikey wants to be solidified
Oh,
with
yeah.
a record. But Albert,
just said that, yes.
what's your
Kevin De Bruyne.
I knew exactly.
All day, man.
Exactly.
I
That's
love
What are you
crazy.
trying to say?
Because I just know who you are. I know you are.
She's saying you have a massive ego without saying you have a massive ego.
Shots fired, eh?
Well, that's Haaland too, right?
You picked Haaland though. It's not shots fired. You just picked.
No, I did say it's because
De
I have a
Bruyne
massive
kind of
ego.
is like the guy too, right?
He is.
He's silky
come on.
smooth.
Okay, wait. What's your
Better with
answer?
both
What's your
feet.
answer?
He plays sexy football.
It's 53 goals. It's pretty.
It's up to you. No,
something
it's, I'm
pretty
not. I'm
special.
not. It's up to you. You
I
guys
know,
all got
yeah.
your
So
answers.
you have a huge ego. is
Massive,
what-
yes, out of
apparently.
control ego, yes. So De Bruyne's skill set or skills
Yeah.
or Haaland's numbers
Yeah.
just for this one season. Yeah, it's probably Haaland because I'm going to be like embossed in bronze outside the Premier League offices, not just Man City's
So
offices.
it's about the trophy and the statue and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I've got a very undefined but unrated ego.
Oh, is it?
It's there.
Oh, it's there.
Oh, it's there.
Oh,
Yeah.
It
it's
flares
there.
up every
Yeah.
once
Flares,
in a while.
then again, it flares up, yeah.
Can I ask
Like my
you why
sciatica.
you picked De Bruyne? Because I understand why they picked Haaland.
I just love the way he plays football.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, and I still think, like, to me, Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best players in the world. He doesn't have the records, but if
Yeah.
I can be one of the best players in the world and play sexy football and have Thierry Henry tell me, you know, I'm not from this planet, I'm
Yeah.
in.
So it is about ego with you as well, being, validated by other people.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't.
But at
need
the same time, like,
yeah.
I can do enough to, carry my team. I don't
Hipster.
think Haaland can carry a team.
Hipster.
Can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hipster.
That's not hipster.
It's hipster.
No, no,
The
no.
right answer is
Dude, I
Haaland.
love him.
Come
I
on.
love
I
a
don't
center
think
mid.
I would have taken KDB
My favorite
too.
player is Moussa Dembele. You guys make fun of me of that. That's just
Moussa
where I'm
Dembele,
at. If you
keep
said
forgetting.
Messi, Ronaldo, Moussa Dembele,
It's
Moussa
Moussa
Dembele.
He's got a Moussa
All
Dembele
day.
tattoo on his shoulder. Can you
I
believe
don't.
that?
I don't. But I should get one.
All right, let's keep this one quick because it's not as actually exciting as I want it to be.
Way to set it up, Sarah.
Sorry. Well, there's good ones coming. That's why you got to keep it interesting. Courtois or Edison this season? There is only one answer, actually.
I'm going Courtois. He just does everything superbly, right? Edison's great, right? But he's a bit more flamboyant, right? He's known for pinging that ball. So I'll take Courtois.
Yeah, it depends what style of play you want to play. Like, I think for Manchester City, I think Ederson
Yeah,
is perfect
perfect,
for them
yeah.
because they dominate possession, they dominate the ball. But for me personally, I've always been a huge Thibaut Courtois fan, so I'm taking Courtois.
I'm going to change it up. I'm going to go Ederson. Because they said Courtois. Also, who wouldn't want to ping a ball 70 yards onto someone's
To be
toenail?
honest, either way, both of these are great options to have. Like, you're
Yeah.
not going to be in a bad
But
situation.
do or die game, you're probably going Courtois.
Yeah, has to be. All
See, I
right,
listen to both of them.
Albert, for you, this one.
Pour
Would
moi?
you rather have Brighton's season or Newcastle's season
Well, that's a good
this
one.
year?
Newcastle.
Newcastle!
Yeah. I love St. James's Park. I love those fans. Like, when it's rocking, and I think that'd be a great crowd to play
No
in front of.
deservy ball for you.
I know I love Brighton too, but listen, if you're Newcastle with a team that you have a very fantastic coach, you finish in the top 4, that's huge. I'm going to go Newcastle.
Mikey?
Yeah, it's Newcastle. Results, obviously, Newcastle had a better season. Both have romantic, great stories. But also Newcastle went to a cup final, obviously falling just short in that cup final. Like, they've done everything better than Brighton, although Brighton is probably the more likable group just based on the way they play. But results-wise, you can't argue it's Newcastle.
I really hope they hold on to that top 4 spot.
Yeah, I mean,
do
you're
too.
both right, but I'll play devil's advocate. I'll say Brighton, just because everyone loves you.
Yeah,
You're the
they're
little
like
team
they
that
are the
could.
most loved.
No one dislikes Brighton at all, and what they've done is amazing. They play, as Pep says, the best football team between the boxes Its trouble is inside the boxes where they're not perfect, but they're not far off, mind you. So I'll just play devil's advocate and take Brighton because it'd be a fun team to play for as well, I think. Not much pressure on them either, right? You're up north in Newcastle, there is a ton of pressure on those players. In Brighton, man, it's all gravy.
All right. Well, we talked about this earlier, but I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say. I think I know the answer, maybe. But if you're Manchester United, do you sign Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen? Albert, don't answer this. I know your answer is.
Okay.
Victor Osimhen.
I've
been on the Harry Kane train for a little
Harry Kane
while,
train.
and it could honestly, I would be happy with either one of these players, but Victor Osimhen, he has the potential to take over games on his own. I know Harry Kane has shown that he can do that, but Victor Osimhen at 23 years old, he's a bit of honestly a different breed out there. Like he's so dominant. I think he's a little bit underrated, especially by this guy Albert Vartanian.
No, he's not. I love him.
At Napoli.
The L3 said dominate, and I don't think he's going to dominate leagues. He's going to be an excellent striker. He already
dominated Serie A this year.
Yeah,
He didn't dominate
23
Serie A.
goals in 28 matches,
That's
23 goals,
domination.
5 assists.
Harry Kane does that, sleepwalks to that every season.
So if you're Manchester United, do you think they should sign Harry Kane? I just want to hear that.
If I'm United, I do whatever I can to get him, but at the same time, if Daniel Levy's driving up the price to north of 100 million, no chance.
All right.
I take Kane as well because their window to win is right now, right?
Yeah.
Rashford's in his prime. Bruno's very much in his prime. Harry Maguire's in. I joke about that, of course. But no, I go Kane because he's proven you know what he does in the Premier League, right? Osimhen's wonderful. I think he'll probably dominate any league he goes to, but he's yet to prove himself in the English Premier League. You know what Kane's going to get you 25 plus goals. I think you put Kane in the City team, he's going to get you maybe not 53, but a damn close to 50 goals in a season as well. He's that good. And he brings leadership, which I think United need as well right now. So buy the player that you know what you're going to get with, and 100% you know what you're getting with Harry Kane.
Fair enough. All right. I got 2 more that I want to get through, so let's try and get through these quick. Declan Rice, hot topic right now. If you're Declan Rice, are you signing with Chelsea or are you signing with Arsenal?
Oh, Arsenal, I think, right? I mean, you don't know with Chelsea. Anywhere he goes, he's going to be top because that's just what he is at West Ham. Now you put him on the side that have capable players around him. No disrespect to West Ham, but you know exactly what I'm saying. I think it's Arsenal. I feel like he fits in there better. Granted, Xhaka is kind of, I think, getting into the latter part of his career. There's
Could be leaving, actually.
rumors about him leaving. I think Declan Rice in that midfield, the young player who's got composure, plays like a veteran, is the perfect fit.
Mikey?
He walks into that midfield in Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal are a way better team set up moving forward. And look at Chelsea, and you have Enzo Fernandez, potentially N'Golo Kante might stay there. They have some depth there
That's a nice midfield three,
in the
too.
center of the park. So
There's a pretty good option north of England too, called Liverpool. Just so you know,
is
just
it?
saying, under Klopp, the legendary manager will make you a better player. So that's the right answer. But I'll take Arsenal. Young
Okay.
team, going to win trophies pretty soon.
Last question. Just say what your answer is. This season, who would you rather have as your manager, De Zerbi or Spalletti?
De Zerbi.
De Zerbi.
Spalletti.
Napoli.
Love Spalletti. Yeah, why not? The way they play football?
Yeah,
oh, man, there's so
isn't
much
it
fun. So
exciting?
nothing against De Zerbi.
Yeah.
No, both are great.
The answer is always Tony Pulis, by the way.
Yeah. It's no matter what the question, the answer always is
Tony Pulis.
Tony Pulis. Yeah, nice job. That's fun.
Good.
I enjoyed that. Maybe we'll do one more in the next block.
Okay.
Yeah,
If you'd like.
Why not? We'll
Or we can
see.
talk about Barcelona maybe winning La Liga.
Could do that as well. We'll figure it out in about 2 minutes from now. Don't go anywhere. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win. All right, we're almost done here. Sarah, producer Elliot's demanding we do one more Would You Rather, and so take it away.
All right, this one was just for fun. Would you rather play for Spurs or Chelsea this season? James, we'll start with you.
Who? Spurs or Chelsea?
This season.
This season?
Who would you rather play for?
Oh, man, that's awful.
I know. It was a really bad one.
Careful what you say, James Sharman.
I mean, the misery. I see Albert. I know Albert so closely, being a Spurs fan, and how beside himself, how he hates all those players so much. If I'm at Chelsea, I'm being way overpaid.
Yeah.
So I'm saying Chelsea.
That's
Oh my
a great. That might be the perfect
That
answer.
is, but that's like
That's the
without
perfect
having
answer.
to insult you.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
It's pick your poison. You're not winning with either of these clubs right now. I think I'm gonna go Chelsea, because I don't want to spend the entire match defending the entire time. So I'm gonna go Chelsea.
I'm gonna go Spurs. It's all I know. This is all I know.
Can you imagine?
you're in contention for
Will throw under the
Europa.
pressure, right? It's
No, I
your
wouldn't.
club.
I'd
It's
be
your
there.
club.
I'd
Europa
cry.
League contention. No, it's how they're way higher up in the table.
I want to cry
matter.
every weekend watching them. Honestly,
I know. I can't. I want to cry as well.
I may or may not have cried.
Hey, we should mention very quickly Barcelona. This weekend, a world-claimed La Liga. You would think a very good chance.
Yeah,
of it, right?
Espanyol. Well, it's the Barcelona derby, so it's massive match.
Espanyol's in a terrible state, though.
19th spot in La Liga. It's not looking good for them, but they can still clinch if Real Madrid and Atleti drop points as well. So that's very possible with the way Real Madrid have been playing in La Liga. But yeah, not a very exciting season for Barca. Of course, getting knocked out of the Champions League in the group stage. There's so much negativity around them, but they are. Sorry, Manchester United knocked out of the Europa League. Sorry for Mikey. We had to. That ego. They feed the ego. Feed it.
By Anthony, too.
And then another Spanish team, Sevilla, took care of you. Anyway.
There it is.
Sorry.
But listen, they're going to win the league. They're going to win it by a milestone here ahead of, Atleti and Real. And they're the best defensive team in the top 5 leagues in Europe. They have conceded when were we ever
Bernie must love that. He loves a good defensive team.
Isn't that bizarre, though? Barcelona, out of all the teams, the best defensive record, the most clean sheets.
It's the days that we're celebrating at Barcelona for the best defensive record, man. How times change, hey?
Yeah.
Who cares about defense? It's all about moving forward. But still, La Liga's La Liga.
Yeah.
Good season or bad season?
They found it again.
Good season or bad season?
Champions.
Yeah, they are. You can't say it's a bad season, but it doesn't feel fully fulfilled yet. Yeah. Yeah.
Next year, when Messi returns next year,
That's crazy.
leads into a Champions League.
Busquets
That's
winning
insane.
La Liga and
Or out of
sending him off.
time. You're so spoiled. It's ridiculous.
You know
You're just
how-
so spoiled.
I'd be
This is Room
unbearable.
442. Enjoy all the games and Barca's coronation. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.